baby. Oh, wait, baby. Hey, man, hey, man, hey, man. Hey, hold on. Wait a minute. Wait. Let me play this commercial for my dog, Johnny Brooks, real quick. Hold on one second. And then we finna go live, baby. I'm finna play this commercial for my dog, Johnny Brooks.
Hey, y'all, what's up? This your boy, Johnny. I'm back in the game. Hey, guys, come check us out. 1815 East Broadway, North Little Rock, Arkansas. I got the best deals in town. $19.99 cash. Yes, you heard it. I got deals for $19.99 cash, riding and driving. You can come and drive these cars anywhere you want to. Come check us out. Like I said, I'm back. $19.99 specials. Brooks Autoplex. 1815 East Broadway, North Little Rock, Arkansas. We got them deals. Come check us out.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Lil Johnny, aka JB the Plug. We have all of you guys' needs and wants. And if your budget a little bit bigger than $19.99, I know y'all love them fast cars and that luxury, so I'm bringing in the Dodge Charger, the Hemis, the Chrysler 300s, Mustangs, Camaros, you name it. We got it, been had it, and getting some more. So stay tuned. We got the Hondas, Toyotas, Nissans, BMWs, Mercedes, domestic and foreign cars. Come get good with the best deals in the city. Brooks Autoplex, Brooks Autoplex, Brooks Autoplex.
1815 East Broadway, North Little Rock, Brooks Autoplex, Brooks Autoplex, Brooks Autoplex.
Oh, wait, baby. Oh, wait, baby. Hey, man. Wait a minute. Hey, man. Hey, it's your boy, Big Nate, baby. The Nate Logic, the real underground radio station, man. Hey, man. I don't know if y'all really understand how important it is tonight that we got somebody on the show, man. I don't know if y'all really prepared for the game that we about to discuss, the things that we going to discuss. I need everybody right now to tune in. Make sure you share this, man. Hey, man.
Sharing it right now.
What they do? They need to do what now?
I'm sharing it right now. They need
you sharing it?
Yeah.
So if you see this on hold on, are we talking to, which one are we talking to? Are we talking to Dr. Watley tonight?
Yes.
We're talking to Dr.
We're talking with two personalities. We're going to split them.
We're going to split them? Let me know when White Dog come out.
Depend on the question.
Well, hey, right now you're talking to Nathaniel.
Okay.
This is Nathaniel.
That's right. We're going to start it off with Nathaniel.
We're going to start it off with Nathaniel, but we're going to switch it over to Nate Logic. Then we're going to go to Big Nate after a while. It depends on how the conversation goes.
Absolutely.
You know, it is what it is, man. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is that we discuss the one place that's near and dear to our heart. Mm-hmm. That's Pine Bluff.
Pine Bluff.
And people don't understand the way people listen. I'm gonna explain this way. God has been good to you. Mm-hmm. He's been supremely good to you. He's blessed you to see the world. Mm-hmm. He's blessed you with awesome talent, extreme intelligence. You can go anywhere you want to go.
Yeah, I can move around a little bit. But I love Pine Bluff.
Hold on, wait a minute. Yeah. Say that one more time.
I love Pine Bluff. And Pine Bluff is a very good place to live, raise a family, and particularly start a business and grow it.
Why? Why do you love Pine Bluff?
Because of those three things. It gives people a low barrier to opportunities that otherwise you'll probably be a spoke in the wheel in other communities. And
what size wheel? 144, 180 spokes? I need to know these. It depends regular old Dayton wires, which ones?
You know, if you're in Little Rock, you might be 140.
140, okay.
But Pine Bluff, hey, you can drive that. You can be an advocate for different things. You can really make a difference quick. And so, as LeBron said, I want to bring my talents to Pine Bluff, back home.
You want to do home.
Yep.
And that's commendable. And I think a lot of people don't really understand is they take your talent, and not just your talent, because there are a lot of people who choose Pine Bluff every day.
Every day.
Choose Pine Bluff. I tell people, and I know he don't like, people like Hank, people like Letitia Brunson, people who choose Pine Bluff. Mm-hmm. And that's commendable. Even myself, whatever little talent I got, I still choose Pine Bluff. Mm-hmm. I could move anywhere and be successful. God has been good to me. Same for a lot of us, but we choose Pine Bluff because we love it.
No doubt about it.
When you say it has a low barrier to success, does that mean that there's no challenges in Pine Bluff? Does that mean It's easy.
So what I mentioned, what I stated was a low barrier to entry on.
Okay.
For example, in very few cities can you obtain access to your city council members as you can in Pine Bluff. Or, for example, I was sitting at the table with a banker one day, and we had two banks, the mayor, prosecuting attorney, and a judge all in one room. And this guy, he wasn't from Pine Bluff. He was like, man, where I'm from, getting these people around the same table would never happen. And, but that spoke to our community working together. But again, it's about access to your leaders and being able to tell them different ideas that you have that will make a difference. And then if you have a volunteer spirit, about trying to work and make a difference, that volunteer spirit, you're going to learn some things that will create an opportunity that you see, oh, this is something that I actually can monetize if I continue to work it. I'm volunteering for this short period of time, but I see there is actually a need in this area. And so that's what I mean by a low barrier to entry if you're willing to do the work and learn what's going on in Pine Bluff. One person told me that there's so many gyms to pick up, you just can't pick them all up at one time.
When you say volunteerism and being able to access it and work and turn it into something, you know who I thought about? Eric Walden. Eric Walden has a beautiful family, great career, but volunteering and he's a mainstay with these kids. Truly a mainstay, and that volunteering aspect of it to where you can create a piece of success for yourself.
That's right.
That reminds me of Eric. Shout out Eric Walden.
Shout out.
Hold fast.
Yeah.
Man, he wake me up every morning. That mess.
Yeah, and he's on our board, so
exactly
he brings that point of view to when we're talking about different things, different situations. So
someone who's not from here.
Yep, he's not.
Someone who started just on a humbug and started doing his thing and worked hard to find success. That's so right. I think of Eric, and I really I think of your comment, and I'm reminded of Eric.
Yep. But I know so many people who have. Started. I started volunteering in this role, but I know. This official role, but I volunteered in other situations that have been profitable for me in the end. But I know several people who have volunteered to make a difference and been able to be employed or understand this is a job. This needs to be a for-profit opportunity, and they begin to work it.
Can I ask you a question? And before I go any further, this your boy Big Nate with the Real Underground radio station. This is Nate Logic. I need y'all to share this one good time. Share this. Everybody that's tuned in right now, share this. Let me ask you a question, Ryan. How did you get started with Go For It Pine Bluff? What was the initial say, hey, Ryan, come help us with this?
Man, I actually had just moved back and was working at UAPB, and I saw the notice in the paper about if you wanted to help and craft this plan. They had an application process, apply, and I did that. And I ended up talking to Nick Macris, who I went to school with, who was one of the pillar chairs. And he was like, yep, you need to do this. This is going to be good for Pine Bluff. We're trying to do some things. And I applied. And so once the planning phase was over, which I could only participate in like 8 months because I ended up going to Nebraska on a sabbatical. And
for 8 months?
No. So the planning phase was for a year. And I only participated 8 of the 12 months because I went 4 months on a sabbatical. 3 or 4 months. And while I was there, I was out of touch, but I really done my part because I'd done some research for the committee. They've done a presentation, which got them jumped off. But when I came back, they had launched a plan, and we're talking about the sales tax. And I said, hey, I got an idea that I think that is really relevant to being able to help get this thing passed. And again, having access to the leadership, anybody could have, didn't just take Ryan Watley. Anybody could have done this. I said, hey, we need to figure out a way to have a platform where subcontractors locally can make sure they know about this work, and that because we're talking about millions of dollars that can potentially be infiltrated into community and projects, and they'll have an opportunity to bid on it. And so we started then talking about what is now the Construction Trade Alliance, Palm Construction Trade Alliance, and a lot of people bought into that. But when I brought that to the leadership at the time, Mr. May and Miss Irene Holcomb and a few others, they was like, okay, will you join the campaign committee? And I began to work the campaign committee, continue to volunteer, add different ideas. And man, one day I was about 2 weeks after I joined, and I think this was prior to really them just campaigning hard. It was kind of in the planning phases. About 2 weeks before I joined, him and the vice chairwoman called me in. They was like, we would like you to lead this effort. And me, I was like, Carla Martin was on there, which is a big sis. That's what I look up to. She was a mentor to me since I was on campus. And so I was like,
shout out, Carla.
They gave me an opportunity. And I asked, well, why not Carla? And they was like, Carla has some other things she's trying to do, et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, well, and I had, at that time, man, I was really focused on trying to become an athletic director. I had went through a whole lot of training with the NCAA, got into some very exclusive training things that they only select like 13 and 15 people out of the country for 2 of them. And I was fortunate enough to get in both of them. So I was really headed towards that direction, and I had my chemistry research off the ground. And so the only reason I left was because the man who asked me, Mr. May.
So hold on, because you were already, so you had the chemistry thing
Yeah.
that you had already pretty much done.
Yeah. I had graduated. But once you graduate, they say that's just the beginning because you got to then do some research to make a difference. But yes, I had graduated. I did research in undergrad, but fostered my own independent research. I was getting that off the ground in Alzheimer's disease. Similar, I did cancer in graduate school, and I was switching to Alzheimer's disease on detection and therapy. And so, I had connections. I was working with a lady who was mentoring me at UMS. I had people such as Derek Gregg, who had mentored me out of Tulsa, who was a U of A grad, and in athletic stuff, and I was fundraising at UAPB. I had a lot of things going because I was dedicated to putting my nose down because I came back to Palmville to make a difference and saying, hey, I'm going to work for these few years and see where I can go. And I was working in the athletic department at UAPB, and it was making a difference. And so he asked me, and I said, man, I got, all these things I've been working on. I basically was had to sit down in graduate school for five years and a lot of hours on learning this craft. And I'm about to basically, if I do this, I'm going to lose a lot of that because I'm not in it every day.
Well, let me ask you a question. And is there, because a lot of people throw this around, he's a chemist by education. You have the chemistry background credentials, let me say that. How do you take that background, that scientific background, and apply it to the work that you're doing now?
Yeah, man, so chemistry is a lot of critical thinking.
Critical thinking.
It's a lot of critical thinking and problem solving.
Okay.
Is Pine Bluff a problem?
No.
So we put a lot of real approaches to problem solving. So that's transferable knowledge. They say different ways to skin a cat, and I work a lot of times with a lot of finance people, and I bring a different way. They always think it's outside the box, but it's transferable knowledge that they say, oh, I never seen it done like that. So, but it works. Same answer. So it's just transferable skills, man. It's reading, writing, critical thinking, but more so the ability to understand that what's in a textbook is not real life. And that's one thing that all chemists understand, that that's just your foundation. And you rely on that foundation for critical moments, but you must be able to problem solve and adapt in a chemical reaction, but in life.
So basically, you just applying the scientific method
Pretty much.
to this whole process.
Yeah, but when you say it, must be careful because the naysayers will say it's just an experiment. And it's not an experiment. We have a case statement, and we're doing research-based solutions or research or proven solutions to address the items on the case statement.
Because similar work has been done. Someone has already built this.
Yeah.
Someone has already been down this path in other similar cities.
Man,
Can you tell me this? Let me ask you this. What similar cities have been down a similar path in this?
So in some ways, Palm Bluff is innovative. We've done some new things, but, in terms of the funding structure and just the idea of public-private partnerships, that's throughout the nation. Now, in Arkansas, El Dorado has done it, and Little Rock even has public-private partnerships with the downtown, forgot what it's called, but they have a downtown river market partnership or something. And they drive economic development in the Little Rock area. They recruit. They try to keep that thing pumping. So public-private partnerships are not something that Go For Palm Bluff created. We just brought it to Palm Bluff in terms of trying to bring more resources to address pretty much certain things that the public side can or cannot do, whether funding or don't have time. The private side, they pick up the slack and vice versa.
So that makes perfect sense. For clarity, and I think a big challenge a lot of people have, what specifically is a public-private partnership?
Very good. So the Palm Bluff the city of Palm Bluff is a municipality. They're a nonprofit, but they're a government entity. So they're a public entity that can receive public funds. So they are the public arm of the public-private partnership. Go For Palm Bluff is a 501c3.
Which is a nonprofit. But we are not a governmental entity.
Right. So we do not get the exclusions or the benefits that the city does. And we're also able to raise capital and do a lot of other things that the city does not normally participate in. And so, therefore, you really get the best of both worlds when you're able to rely on each other's strengths to address each other's weaknesses.
So let me ask you this, and tell me if I'm moving to, if you don't want to, who do you work for?
Yeah, so I work for my board. So Go For Palm Bluff has a nonprofit board. I work for the actual nonprofit name is GFPB Inc.
And that's who you work for?
That's who I work for.
That's who signed your check?
That's who signed my check, and I actually am the incorporator. I formed GFPB Inc. because when we were going through the campaign phase, there was no nonprofit because nonprofits cannot participate in political activity by and large. Now, you can get a certain percentage of your activities can go towards, but it's very strict, or you'll get your designation snatched,
right,
and then you're not able to receive contributions that are tax deductible.
So I want to, before we go too far, because I think what happens is that sometimes we saying things and it go over people's head, or they don't get an opportunity to digest it.
Yeah,
so
you need to say it again.
I want to make sure that whatever we say is digestible.
Yeah.
They can hear it and understand it.
Yeah.
Because what happens, things get lost in translation and people don't have the chance to hear it. And before we go any further, I need y'all to share this. Share this with your folks. And if you have any questions for us at any points, any questions, respectable questions, or White Dog and Big Nate don't come out.
So again, I work for Eric Walden. He's on our board.
Right.
I work for Tavante Calhoun. I work for Irene Holcomb. Those are the people who evaluate me, or who my chairman is, Tommy May. He gives recommendations to the board, but I report to my board every month about what we're doing, the progress we're making. And so there needs to be an understanding that people can support your mission because they believe in what you're doing. They don't have to support you in telling you what to do. You see, I'm not giving you this money because I want you to do this. You're already doing what I want you to do. So I support your mission. You're saying I support your cause.
Because they support the cause, they're willing to be invested.
Invested.
Because they believe in it.
They believe in what you're doing.
And I think that's what a lot of people get confused.
That's right.
They thinking that these people are investing in this and putting money in it because they want control or because they trying to make money off you or anything of that nature. So you're saying that people like Tommy May is investing in Palm Bluff.
He's investing in Palm, but he's actually on the board.
Right.
So I report to him. I report directly to him. I report to Miss Pringles. I report to Miss Floretta Scott. All these are board members. Brian, who's CEO of the hospital. I report to all these different people who can call me up at any time and ask me a question, but primarily they ask the chair, who I report to directly. But any of them
Which
can
is Tommy May.
Yeah, but any of them can get together and say, Ryan, I'm doing a good job. We got to get rid of him.
At any point.
At any point.
Who all is on this board?
Oh, man, don't get me in trouble.
Okay.
But
Eric Walden is on this board.
Devontae Calhoun.
On this board.
Irene Holcomb. Erling Collins is on the board. You remember her when she was a principal at Palm High School?
Yep.
She might have been a math teacher when you went through.
Yeah.
Mr. May, Mary Pringles, Rosin Mauser, Stephen Brown, Brian Thomas. What's my guy name? Sand and Gravel. Forgive me. So I'm forget some names.
No, if you don't, you don't.
Yeah. But it's about 14 and 15. Chancellor Davis was on the board, rest his soul, before he passed. Right. Which is a very reliable source, man. We miss him all the time.
Yeah.
And, Chancellor Davis would always tell me that we're going down the right track, think about this, etc. And he would always give a historical perspective on things about where the university and his leadership were trying to have they partner with the city to do certain things, etc. And so that was just very important, man. I missed that knowledge because he would bring so much, but man, we gleaned a lot of that, and I know that we are operating in his spirit.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
He was such an amazing spirit. We do have a question.
All right,
and because I want to make sure that we're asking. We're speaking to these questions and still giving the history and the goals of what's next. I mean, not what's next, of go forward. Ernest Horton. Shout out to Ernest, man. First of all, for going
man, we not talking about no baseball today.
Ernest, no, he says. Ernest, he wants to know what's the plan to attract business to come to Palm Bluff.
Very good, very good, very good. So that's an economic development question, and the first is really one that you have to burn on both ends of the counter. It's a complex question. Yeah. So number one, we have to improve the workforce.
Improve the workforce.
Because right now, so a lot of times statistically, companies may look at your community and decide what may work there and what may not. That's what they should do, right?
Right.
They should take an analytical approach.
Right.
So
because if I'm a Fortune 1000 company, I'm going to look at your value, the home work. What is this? Work to home life value. Yeah. I'm going to look at the property values. I'm going to look at who can I get to work there. I'm going to look at the school grades. All these different things. Yep. Am I right?
Yep, that's right. And so those are some of the things that we have to improve, starting with the workforce. However, we do have, and so what's workforce is so critical across the nation now. People willing and wanting to work. Just about I'll say 10 years ago, it was this thing where we needed every community was trying to pass an economic development sales tax so they have incentive money to form like these big infrastructure dollars so to be able to entice people to come to their community. Well, everybody got that now.
Right.
So what sets you aside is your workforce. So one thing we are proposing in this new funding cycle, two things. I'll say two. The first is to increase the enrollment at UAPB and CR. So if we increase their enrollment by, let's say, 50%, that will probably take UAPB up to like 55 to 6,000 and CR to like 3,200. Palm Bluff will be a different town. But now look at the number of graduates. You go from having, let's see, 1,200 graduates to 2,500 graduates,
right.
From UAPB. Now look at the amount of people who you have in terms of a pool to employ. Though you going and then some of those students will be on the higher end. So you increase the number of students who are in honors college. You increase the number of students who are in different areas across the colleges in the university.
And some graduate programs and things.
But not only that, there's a serious gap between the curricula and the private sector and what's needed there between UAPB and, for the most part, CRC. So we must form a bridge and make the curricula relative at both institutions. Now that we have some corporate influence on the curriculum, what's being taught, now we must get them to know the people that's learning it through co-ops and internships.
Mm-hmm.
So now I know the skill set is there and I know the talent personally. And those are things that are written in what we're trying to do to attract industry there. The other deal is about education. We must prove the talent coming out of secondary schools. You improve the talent coming out of the school, grades will improve.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, this whole thing is meant to build the community and make it more attractive for people to move there as a resident and as a corporation. But more than anything, in Pine Bluff, we must build an entrepreneurial ecosystem. Our entrepreneurs are here when they need to be here.
You got to make, and then can I add something to that?
Yeah.
You got to make somebody want to stay in Pine Bluff.
Make somebody want to stay in Pine Bluff. But to the entrepreneurs create jobs, people who create things, people who make things.
Right.
They are the ones who create jobs because they make a difference in some type of problem. They supply the demand.
Whatever it might be, correct.
Yeah, by creating things and being in innovation. And so innovation, entrepreneurs, those are very important, which is written in our plan to try to boost. And so you never know, they call them unicorns now. You never know who the next unicorn is going to be in your population to create something that creates 800 jobs in your community.
Wow.
That might be making 5-6 figures.
Yeah.
But you must give that person a platform and elevate their skill sets where they can expand vertically and horizontally and expand beyond the walls of Pine Bluff. Connect them to global supply chains.
Right. How is Go For It Pine Bluff specifically doing that?
So, man, we got a long way to go.
A long way to go.
But the way we are doing that is helping people get their ideas out of their head onto paper through our generator, the Innovation Hub.
So that leads me to this. I'm curious. Tell me, out of the whole thing so far, the private side, who the generator comes from the private side. Am I correct?
Correct.
So what did the private side do for the generator? Or what's the input of the private side for the generator?
So the generator, first we had to find a location.
Okay.
And Simmons Bank donated a building to us.
So what's the value of that building?
Man, I cannot remember.
So so when people say the private side ain't gave nothing.
Yeah, that's one thing that they gave right there for sure.
What's the square footage on that building?
He beat me on that one. But I'll say every bit of 4,000 square feet or more. And it's a 3-story building. So
that's a donation from the private side.
Yeah.
So unless somebody got I don't know. I mean, we're looking at the generator.
Yeah.
The actual physical building.
Yeah.
And it comes from the private side.
And we raised the money to renovate the building, which cost $500,000.
Where'd that come from?
Private side.
The private side. Mm-hmm. So the private side paid for the generator. Mm-hmm. The private side paid for the renovation of the generator.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
And now it is a fact that we have a professional service agreement to serve the community. And so the city of Pine Bluff helps pay for the programming and operations of that because it is a service for us to create entrepreneurs who in turn create jobs and get them situated in the community.
So basically what you're saying with that is, we want to make it digestible.
That's right.
So the city of Pine Bluff is paying for the programming.
That's right.
Meaning that the city of Pine Bluff is responsible for making sure that there are things offered for the people of Pine Bluff.
That's right.
So it can stimulate or help grow.
That's right.
So I want to make sure we reiterate that, and that people will hear that part. The city of Pine Bluff pays for you,
Yep.
you, to go to the generator,
That's right.
come up with some ideas,
That's right.
and apply them, and make something of it.
Now, that's also when you say bring some ideas, because there's been talk about, the incubator. When you go into the incubator, you're not going there to develop an idea. Your idea is already matured. You have a business that you're operating out of there, and they're trying to grow you to independency.
Right.
They can't do anything with an idea in an office space.
So let's put it this way then. The generator is where the seed's at.
That's right. That's
where
where
you plant the
generate
seeds,
stuff.
right?
That's right.
The incubator is where you put it at to grow.
That's right.
And then once it outgrows the incubator, it goes to off to market.
Off to market.
I don't understand.
And we've been working with the incubator. They teach the classes now at the generator. We have a strong partnership. As a matter of fact, with our 6th and Main district, we have an agreement on, that was UAPB's building that they've donated to the project. And we're investing, some money is coming from, I think about $5.5 million.
Hold on, what building? What was
So
UAPB?
there's an orange building behind the incubator that's very obscure. No one really pays attention to it. It's between the bank branch that was there, and it's an orange building. It sits real back, far behind it.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and so they donated that building to the project to help restaurants grow. It's part of a larger incubator district. And so $5.5 million from the tax is going into that, again, to stimulate restaurants in Pine Bluff. And the rest is being funded by private contributions, about, at least $1 million. Yeah, no, $3 million, actually.
Wow.
Yep.
Man, this is your boy Big Nate with the Real Underground Radio Station. Listen, man, I need everybody that's listening to this, man, share this. This Nate Logic, baby. Wait, baby. Ron, I'm so excited to have you here, because this is some of the conversations that we needed to have to try to get some understanding.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure we have a clear understanding on what we're doing and why Go Forward Pine Bluff is doing these things to make a better Pine Bluff. So one of the biggest things we hear a lot of people talking about is $20 million.
Yeah.
$20 million. Now, we just broke down some of the private side donations.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, if y'all know me, I'm going to be honest. Yes, I do believe in Go Forward Pine Bluff. So I already know some people are going to say I'm a little biased. Yeah. It is what it is. And yeah, you might be right. I am. But if it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, it's wrong.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
The thing about it is, Go Forward Pine Bluff, that's not even the incorporated name. So Go Forward Pine Bluff is a movement of the people. It's like, we finna move the city forward. We're tired of looking at all these conditions and nothing happening. We're getting ready to move.
Right.
So that's totally separate from the administrative role that I play and et cetera. But people are wanting to see progress, so they're making an investment. So, again, your support is for advocating. And that's what we do. We don't have a vote. We don't control any of the tax dollars. They don't come in our bank account.
Whoa. You mean to tell me
Yeah.
that $20 million ain't sitting in your back pocket?
No, sir. Not a dime of it.
Ryan, nah, you got that $20 million.
No, sir.
Man, you got that $20 million sitting over there in your pocket. So I'm just saying, that's what they think.
Yeah. No, that's what they've been told, though, by people who spread misinformation. They're telling them that I'm directing tax dollars. No, I'm working with the city in a public-private partnership to talk about the issues. And collectively, we're saying, okay, these are the priorities and things that we're going to try to address, followed by the next set of things we're going to try to address.
Right.
And so all I have is a seat at the table. But when it come down to voting, ain't nobody getting paid to vote no way. That's illegal. You go to jail for that. That's a bribe. You can't do that.
And that's a what?
That's a bribe.
And then if you take a bribery, you do what?
You go to jail for your vote. You cannot do that.
If somebody tried to say, well, if you vote this way,
I'm going to give you this X amount of dollars. or here's $5,000 to vote this way. No, you cannot do that.
And to accuse someone of that,
It's just ridiculous.
it's unfair.
It is. You cannot do that.
You're basic. So when you say that someone's vote is being bought or someone's vote is being influenced, you're basically accusing them of a felony.
No doubt about it, man. No doubt about it. Now, again, just like I talked about the difference in somebody supporting what you believe in terms of the nonprofit, if you campaign on something and your platform is something I believe in, and you hold a fish fry, I'm gonna go buy a fish dinner. But some people just said, man, I don't need the fish. I support you enough. I'm just gonna give you a donation
Makes sense. Because they believe in what you're doing.
because they believe in what you're saying you're gonna do, and they believe in the person you are,
And you got a track record for
and
it.
you got a track record for it.
So it says, wasn't there a bribery push to get candidates in office?
So again, a bribery push is illegal. No. So a political action committees, I believe that I will talk about what they're mentioning. That's not a bribery push.
Right? So
Let me tell you this. Myself, you, Iceman Buddy, and 4 other people can decide we're going to pool our money together and we're going to support this candidate. That's no different than the 4 of us going to a fish fry and all buying us a plate dinner that give them a net profit of $3 off the fish dinner.
So are they referring to that letter?
Yeah, probably so.
So can we dig into that a little?
Yeah, absolutely.
When we refer a letter, what letter are they referring to?
So there was a fundraising letter went out they formed a political action committee.
A political action committee, meaning that a group of people who believed in something
Yep.
got together.
Yep.
Now, was this group of people from all walks of Pine Bluff, correct?
All white people, black people, business people. They sent a letter out to a wide net of people saying, if you believe, I think it's called Progress of Pine Bluff or Step Up Pine Bluff. It was telling them, step up Pine Bluff.
So these people had a vested interest.
That's right. And they sent it to people who they thought would make a contribution that they can give to the candidate to support their campaign.
Right.
That's not a bribery. No one told them that you better vote this way if you accept this money. We've seen that before.
I think that's the problem that a lot of us have is when people ask or say these type of things, wasn't there a bribery push to get candidates in office? You're accusing someone of a felony. People that we know have done time for that.
Yep. You can't do that.
And I mean, that's just not fair.
And there's no evidence of someone voting because someone paid them to vote that way. If it is, they're going to jail for sure.
Right.
No
I
doubt
agree.
about it.
So it was a political action committee.
Yep, PACs.
A group of folks who just said we're gonna go buy a fish fry. We're gonna go buy some fish.
Instead of we're gonna do the fish fry,
Who cooking leg quarters?
and so we can sell them for our fundraisers. But that's what a lot of people do. They say, man, we're gonna bypass that. We don't got to eat off you. We're gonna give you a net contribution. Whatever my check is, that's your. You don't gotta have a bottom line on what you pay for the fish for. You ain't gotta do that. Here you go. Start campaigning. So the same thing is flipped. If I'm holding a fish fry, and everybody that's come out to support my fish dinner, are they telling me to vote a certain way? No. They're just supporting me in my campaign.
Because they believe in
Because they believe in what I'm doing.
and they believe in the stance that you've taken.
Absolutely.
So it's not that they were saying, "Hey, you better vote for us," or that they were picked or handpicked, or they just said, "Hey, you believe in what you believe in. Go for it, Pine Bluff," or not even necessarily that you believe in go for it, Pine Bluff. You believe in progress.
That's right. You believe in cleaning up the city, not being argumentative every council meeting. You believe in conducting business or whatever else aligned with some things that people saw in them people to support. It's that simple. But people use that for emotionalism to sway different narratives and things. And it's just unfortunate, man. There's a lot of things that we have to clean up. behind, and really when they talking about it, they talking about some of our young leaders, you know, and that you're dragging them down when we supposed to be lifting them up.
And we're only dragging them down and pulling them down because they don't follow or believe in what we believe or what you believe in or others or someone might believe in. And that's not fair in my opinion.
Yeah.
And here's the dilemma. I think if you're not going to come to this with an open mind to hear and receive new information, if you've already got it on your mind that something is one way,
Yeah.
that's a failure of you.
Yep. Because, man, the problems that we deal with, just like Little Rock, these are complex issues. And that's why they talk about, putting certain things on the ballot specifically. Man, you cannot put people building on the ballot.
It's just not.
Because that's a lot of what we're doing.
How can you put on? I don't think you can just go out. We're gonna pay for certain things, and
yeah. But if you're doing public infrastructure projects like a fire station, aquatic center, multi-purpose center, streets, yeah, you can put that on the ballot. We're gonna do all those things. But the things that we're talking about, it'll be a long ballot, a very long ballot. That's unnecessary. How about we start just being accountable for what we're saying we're gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
And do those, print them on paper, pass them out, and then be able to come back to you and say, this is the paper I gave you. This is what we did. This is how far we've gotten in that process, and be held accountable.
So let me ask you a question, Ron, because I want to get back to that $20 million.
Yeah.
Where that 20? You got that $20 million outside? Can let me get $1 million? Where that? It's your boy Big Nate with the Real Underground Radio Station. Hey, I need y'all to share this, man. Share this.
Yeah.
Share this. So, give me a quick rundown where the $20 million is. It's outside. I seen it outside.
No, sir. Well, so it's actually what has been collected in terms of revenue. Tax is doing it wasn't doing $5 million a year, but it's averaging that now. So it's about 25 that has come in from 17 to 2022, and about 18 of that has been spent. So we got a net about $6 million on the public side.
Okay, hold on. Wait a minute. We're moving a little fast.
Yep.
You've spent 17 million, 18 million, and you got 6 million in the bank. Where have you spent that 18 million on?
I'm going to pull some paperwork out on you, Nate.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, one, out the gate, 4 million of that, well, about 4.7 million is going to repay a advanced loan to complete the aquatic center.
So we done took a payday loan out for the aquatic center.
Yeah. Because we didn't have the money up front, But and here's the difference. I mean, here's the problem at hand. When we first started out, the tax would generate about $4.3 million annually, and that project had been on the slate for quite a while, and they needed that $4 million. So we could what?
Somebody.
They didn't hack your stuff, man.
Hold on 1 second, man. Hold on, wait a minute.
Go to commercial, man.
But go ahead, you keep going. They just got my page. That's all. My personal page.
Yeah.
We got other ways around this here.
So if the tax is generating $4.3 million a year, and we got all these different initiatives that we got to get off the ground, and we need $4 million to start the construction and complete the aquatic center, we had two choices. We could wait a whole year to cash flow the aquatic center, or we can advance that money through a loan. We already getting pressure for people saying we're not doing enough in 5-6 years. So imagine if we would have waited to do the aquatic center. So we took the loan out, and it was very beneficial because we've been paying the loan down early, not paying as much interest. But any interest is too much interest, right? You don't want to pay anything. But that's what they call the cost of capital,
right? It's the cost of business.
It's the cost of business.
So basically, you guys took a capital loan to pay for the aquatic center, correct?
Correct. And we'll be paying, proceeds are paying back. A large share of the taxes went to funding the operations of the demo team under the Urban Renewal Agency. So that's salaries, equipment, and the cost of dumping these dilapidated homes. filing liens, etc. So we got about $9 million that has went into that over the last 5 years. And we've accomplished 175 houses. Now, it really should be more, but some politics came into play and shut us down about 6.5, 7 months in that process. But either way, we've done a really good job in having a robust method for dealing with blighted properties. Let's see, what else here? Let me turn this over. Part of the, and part of the initiatives, and this came out of stuff that people wanted to see that, we didn't even have an entrance sign. And so it's hard to put entrance signs at every ingress, egress in Pine Bluff. We would develop 3.
Right.
Now, I've heard some comments about, wow, that's a lot for 3 for $136,000. That's a lot, but it's important to understand that this was procured. These are public dollars, so everything has to be put out for lowest qualified bid or a qualified vendor.
Mm-hmm.
And for what they built, you got electric signs that have they light up, LED. You had to get electrical lines ran, brick signs. Hey, we wish we could have got it for free, but
right,
we got a competent product.
You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
When did the city get approved for the make actual vote for the aquatic center? Do you remember that?
Ooh, man, I don't know when that tax was. Like, man, Mr. Rita's been out of office for mayors and her she's serving 2 terms, so let's say she's in her 6th year, I guess. And then you had Hollingsworth, that's 10. And I guess he was before that. So sometime.
So they voted to approve the aquatic center.
Man, over a decade ago.
They had the money to improve the Merrill Center.
So yeah, they did. That's a tricky one.
That's a tricky one. Okay, well, before I put that on your plate, let's because here's what I want to say. The city had been declining.
Yeah.
Going to the dumps.
Yeah.
Let's keep it a buck.
Yeah.
The city had been declining for so long. Mm-hmm. My question to you is, specifically the aquatic center, mm-hmm. the same group of people who were in control, who were in office, had the funds or somewhat of them to build because we had already had a tax and the money for the aquatic center, then why did it not get built?
Well, I'll tell you.
Uh-oh.
They had.
Should I call them and ask them? Because they were in office.
Yeah, you can ask them. They can take the question. But I'll say this. For the design that, from my understanding, design changed a lot. But the aquatic center was one of the back burner projects. They built fire stations. I think they did the animal control deal, which a lot of people's mad about. And
they weren't dog lovers. I think me and you are dog lovers, so we needed it.
Yeah, they still had on the docket the streetscape deal and the aquatic multi-purpose and aquatic center, whatever. The problem that when you wait so long to do these projects, price goes up, right? Whether we in an inflation period or not, things are going to continue to cost more as you wait out. So there was not enough funds to complete a state-of-the-art aquatic center. So they need some more revenue. They tried to raise monies, which they did. I mean, this went on through 3 administrations.
Right.
Trying to raise money for this aquatic center.
And they never could get it done.
They raised probably maybe $400,000. But, man, you're talking about a $4 million gap based on the design. Now, they could have minimized the design, but then the public at large would have been mad at them.
It would have looked like the little sprinkler system.
Yeah. They put that in. They were mad about it, right?
Right.
And so you must, what I found out with Pine Bluffians, that we have a high taste. We have a big taste value. Because we've seen a lot. And
right.
we are traditionally a middle-class city because we got 2 higher education institutions producing those.
Right.
For the most part. And so they didn't have sufficient funds. This was part of including this in this package, and we were able to do it. And I say we, the city council, we as a community.
As a group.
We as a group. The citizens voted to bring that to fruition, and it was done immediately.
Immediately, as soon as Go For It Palm Bluff came aboard. And I think that's something that we have to look at and say, hey, we had the funds for the aquatic center a long time ago.
Yeah.
But and I hate to say this, and I know this word is nasty to sometimes, but the failures of prior leadership just couldn't get it done.
Well, Nate, I'm gonna say give them a little grace because you have to.
Well,
look, because the same thing
right.
could be said about some things that we're doing. A lot of things happen with the penny of progress to where it had to get diverted to this, that, and other things. Accountability. It was a permanent tax too. So that's been absorbed like totally. And so they did fire stations. They did this, did that. It's about so they could have done the aquatic center first, right?
And then we wouldn't have got the new fire stations.
Yeah. So it was on the back end of what they felt like was important to do these things first, and so they ran out of money, or administration change, whatever the case may be.
Had
a new mayor had to pick it up, but then we looking at it like this not enough money. The other money's been spent on different things, and then we having to decide how to spend these other funds. So. Give them a little grace on that and that, but
have they been giving you grace?
Probably not. Some people have probably, but not all. I don't, it don't really bother me. But I do think that it shouldn't take a decade and a half to do streetscape, to do these projects. But it brings light into why public-private partnerships are important, or why Go For It Palm Bluff existence as part is important, because we're paid. Outside of the tax, no tax dollars. We're free labor to the city to drive and advocate and push these projects so they won't take a decade and a half.
Right. So I think we need to reiterate that again. You're paid outside of the tax.
My board,
you don't work for the city of Palm Bluff.
I do not.
Nobody. How many people are employed by Go For It Palm Bluff? By your organization?
We have 3 full-time people and 2 part-time people. That's our capacity.
So you got 3 full-time and 2 part-time.
That's on the private side. Now, the Urban Renewal Agency, remember I talked about.
But that's not your organization.
That's
so
the public side.
That's a total. That's city ran.
That's city ran. City ran.
So, but Go For It Palm Bluff.
We employ 3.
How many direct reports do you have?
1.
You only have
one.
Oh
no! I thought you were talking about who I report to. No, I have 4.
You have 4 direct reports. Okay.
And we know I tell people report to certain people at times on different projects or different people lead certain things, but overall everybody reports to me.
Okay, understood. So I want to make sure.
Actually, I guess you could say the people at the generator, so there would be 5, but we actually have a volunteer executive director
at the generator.
At the generator, he reports to me.
Whoa! He volunteering?
Volunteering, dog. Driving Little Rock every day. Volunteer. Ain't never been paid a dime of his time and doing an amazing job.
Somebody need to pay that man.
Yep.
Y'all let that man use the material up in there for free or something.
Yeah.
He get all the ink pens and laser printed stuff or something.
Man.
Use a 3D printer or something.
We didn't try to bless him, man, and he just said, man, I'm good. He says, I need this to work. If this works, if we're able to produce more entrepreneurs, the other investments that I got in Palm Bluff will work.
Right.
So that's the big long term that he says, hey, he's making a difference.
Yeah, and so I see that because he, like you said, he has a vested interest in Palm Bluff, and so if he helps Palm Bluff grow,
he will grow.
His businesses grow.
That's right.
I think he has the skate land, so as Palm Bluff grows,
more people.
So it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Stephen Mays asked, doesn't taxes slow economic growth? If management is not supporting stimulating growth because of political reasons, there's no reason for Go For It. Okay.
That's a comment or a question?
I believe that's a question. Doesn't taxes slow economic growth?
So I guess he's asking, is it regressive? So it depends on, I just talked about how every city has an economic development tax, right?
Right.
Even the state of Arkansas uses taxes as incentives to spur economic growth. So it's a matter of how you use the tax, whether it fits into what he is saying. Now, if we just use the tax to pour into streets and all that things, and there's no no, what you call it, a seed that grows out of the ground that can proliferate and spread, then yes, absolutely.
But you guys aren't. What are you specifically? You're using the tax to develop the economy.
Economic development, like we talked about, training these entrepreneurs. Man, all it takes is one.
I'll tell you this. I was actually a part of the what was this class I took at the generator?
Entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneurship.
Yep.
And it were a lot of successful businesses. One of my favorite ones are Peaky's. Cosmetology school.
And she won a $5,000 pitch competition. Private money.
Private money.
Yeah,
So for you to go into,
it was the second part of the question too. He asked.
or
the comment was.
I think the second part is a comment.
Yeah. So it's a matter of how you're using the tax as
Right.
a tool to leverage it. You got to leverage those dollars. But then we're in a situation that we put ourselves in that we don't have decades to leverage it and bring, results.
So
We got to do this in 7 years, 6 years, and with a pandemic.
right, and a lot of people are forgetting that. A lot of people are forgetting for 3 years, 3 or 4 years almost,
Man,
that the world shut down.
the world shut down. So who was starting a restaurant in the pandemic? Who was starting a movie theater? Nobody.
Nowhere in the world.
Nowhere in the world. So we're bouncing back,
Even with movie theaters, people just now starting coming back,
man.
and they're not bouncing back all the way.
they're not bouncing back.
In Little Rock, they just
They
had
shut 2 of them down, right?
Was it 2?
I think 2 went back. The shopping center deal and another one I saw.
Breckenridge
Yep.
shut down.
Yep.
I don't know if it
That's
was
in the
another
shopping
one.
center. And then I saw Hot Springs. One was closing, but I think that was for some other reasons.
So I mean, reality of it is, and then you got streaming services that start showing movies right away now.
Yep. So, but my friend and everybody who's listening, this is something that was conflicting about this next tax we're proposing, because we are advocating that we partner with the city council on this, construct a movie theater. The reason why I talked about building enrollment at UAPB, right? We consider now a movie theater is like a park. It's an amenity. If your community has one, boy, you're in the right position. But if you in a region of 65,000 people in the county and you don't have a movie theater,
You tough.
but you're trying to recruit people to your town. And
I'd be mad about that.
It's like, but let's say I got option A and B. Option A, same size town, different, same makeup. Option A has a nice movie theater, restaurant, all that in it. Option B don't have that. Man, I'm going to school in option A.
Yeah.
And then the important thing is, let's say a big movie come out, Thanksgiving, all that. Usually, they gonna save them to the end. Most people gonna get them an outfit,
They want all that.
and they gonna go out to eat.
Yep.
And they gonna go to the movies.
You ain't got nowhere to take a little date in the bluff right now to the
and
movie
so
theater.
They hitting 5:30 to do all that
All that. Agreed.
every time.
So you guys are gonna sponsor. Wait a minute. How are you guys gonna go about purchasing a movie theater?
It's very good. So not purchase, going to construct. So it's similar to what we did with the Marriott Hotel. We are going to request for qualifications on individuals who have ran movie theaters with franchise agreements. So you got anyone, a rave, whoever. And we're going to buy into their design. And we're going to issue bonds. So this will not take years to happen. The citizens have continued to voice, we only have a movie theater.
So could Steve and Mays or somebody come in and sit down?
They can always respond to the request for qualifications. Just like we've issued before. They can always respond, but the most qualified candidate who has shown. So if somebody can bring a Malco Theater to Pine Bluff. Now, in terms of a franchise,
Right.
it is now our belief that we're probably going to have to pay for this theater. Before COVID, we had a gentleman who spent $500,000 of his own money Because there was something out there about go for a Pine Bluff, purchase the old Walmart with tax dollars. That is a totally lie. So this guy at an auction, 2000, early 2019, or midway, somewhere in there, I can't remember the date. Man, spent $500,000 on that Walmart building, acquired at an auction. He thought it was a great deal. He was really working on the whole mall. Ms. Vu got in the way, whatever. Right after that, COVID hit.
He lost money.
Man, I felt sorry for him. Because how can he turn that over? But he really did Pine Bluff a favor, though, man, because people were trying to turn that into another, like the Walmart on 28th. They were trying to get that mall property and turn it into a storage U-Haul deal. And he had the ability to do that, but he's like, nah, man, I'm not going to do that to the community. I'm going to find a way to mobilize this.
And I'm going to keep it a buck with you, man. That U-Haul on 28,
Yeah.
them folks making some money.
Yeah.
All of them stay rented. I was doing the math. I think on average, that building on 28, I know this kind of off.
All they paying is heating and air.
That's all they paying.
Yeah, so, man.
And you know they making about, I want to say that building make them out $1 million a month.
Yeah. So,
Easy.
you know, someone was trying to buy, he beat the person out at auction who was trying to do it. Now, he could turn around and sell it to that person, but he ain't done it yet. So, this man must got some decent pockets, man. And what he said was, again, we're in the region, well, where in the country do you have a region of 65,000 people and they don't have a decent movie theater to go to? It's towns, he was like, Pine Bluff, Arkansas, that's where I'm going. I think Arkadelphia did the same model. They built their own movie theater when no one else would come there.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I
And
think
it's going to be more than just a movie theater. It's going to be very creative. And we'll form a committee around it and all of that. But it's similar to hotel, man. We're going to get it financed or we're going to pay it outright. We're going to issue a bond and do this. And Pine Bluff going to have a movie theater if this passes within the construction time period. That's the first thing that we're going to. We got the continuation stuff, but in terms of new project. But here's the good thing about it. The projects such as 60 Main, go-kart track, and the hotel, those things are launching this year. And so those,
tax or not.
yeah,
Approved
tax
or
or
not.
not.
So let me ask
So
you.
we're gonna keep this. Gonna be a long. This is Pine Bluff is gonna be a continuing building period for a long time because each of these projects is gonna take 12 to 18 months, right? A lot of them. The go-kart track not so much, but the hotel is estimated 16 months. 6 and Main 12 months. So we're one project after another, constantly building.
Pouring it on.
Yeah, pouring it on. And so that's really going to take Pine Bluff to another level. The problem is we have to be able to get the private investors to come in and be able to fill these public or match these public support.
I think that's been a challenge, though.
It is a challenge, man, because our market is not strong. And that's why when markets are not strong, for example, the charging stations that you see with electric cars and things, until the market catches up, there's a subsidy out there for people who build charging stations.
Right?
Because the cars are not on the highway enough.
They're not building them.
They're building them, but people haven't bought them enough yet.
Right.
You see more gas-powered cars than electric cars, but people are making the investment.
Old Sport, the only one I know who
Yeah.
got it. He put he put a charging station on his barbershop.
That's right. And so, but to build chargers, like you got one in Little Rock. I saw that. I forgot what street.
Right off of 630.
Yeah. And so
Woodrow.
you're still, what they're hoping to see is that you see as many charger stations as gas stations on highways and things, but they've already talked about the subsidy that's going to need to be there until the market catch up. That's why this tax is temporary. This is a temporary subsidy to keep on building and building and building until the population grows or enough private investment comes in when the tax is no longer needed.
Calhoun is asking who pays the tax.
Anybody who buys an item that's subject to taxation, sales tax taxation, so not just residents. You have visitors come in who pay the tax. Get people at the gas station, groceries, anything at Walmart, which they produce a lot of it.
How much is this tax? I know we saying 5/8 and 3/8. Break it down.
plain.
Make it plain for me.
So
if I spend $1,
Dollar, you only pay a cent. You don't pay 1 penny.
Hold on, whoa. Whoa, hold up. You mean to tell me
Yeah,
all this hooping and roll is about a penny
a penny, dog.
on the dollar?
Penny on the dollar.
So if I spend $100, I'm paying 10 cents.
Nope, you gonna pay $1.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So if you spend 10,000, so if you spend in a year $10,000 on taxable items, you're gonna spend $100 in a year
Wow. So if I spend
for this tax
this tax only, so it's $1. I mean, it's 1 cent
on the dollar.
on the dollar,
Correct.
and that'll help me get more police,
That's right.
That'll
Clean these neighborhoods up.
clean these neighborhoods up.
A housing bond to build new housing, and grow the enrollment at UAPB, market the city better, a movie theater, spread some of the monies out throughout the city,
Let me do the math here.
restaurants,
Okay.
restaurant incentives, retail incentives, entrepreneurship opportunities. It's a lot of different things it can do.
So I buy a little Debbie cake for $2.
Yeah.
That little Debbie cake is now gonna cost me
202.
$2.02.
Yeah.
But with that 2 cents, I get a better Pine Bluff.
That's right.
Sign me up.
But that's not the only tax. You know, we're at 10% on taxes. Like our tax rate in the city of Palm was 10%.
So the whole
So it'll be 20 cents. So, but we're adding, the part that we're adding
okay.
is only a penny on the dollar.
Wait a minute now, Ryan. Hold on. I want to sign up for your program. I want to sign up for your program.
In life, huh?
Right. Well, I'm just paying a cent,
And I'm getting all this in return.
but 10%. You got Jefferson County.
Yep.
How much is that tax?
So overall, okay, let me think. The city of Pine Bluff sales tax rate is 10% right now.
Right.
That's with the existing Go For It Pine Bluff sales tax, that's the 5/8. It's already in place. So 10%. So the county gets 6%. I may be a little bit off, but 6% No, I'm sorry. The state gets 6% The county gets like 2% and the city gets like 2.5%. Somewhere in there. There's a breakdown there. 1.5 the county get, and I think the city gets 2.5. Somewhere in there.
The city.
We can just look it
I
up.
was
How
looking
about
at.
we look it up?
Yeah, I was looking at it. The city get 4%.
Nope.
Oh no. The county gets 4%. I'm sorry.
Nope. I'm finna look it up.
Okay.
Because I can't remember. And we need to be factual, right? City of Pine Bluff sales, right?
And Calhoun is making a point. He's saying that low-income families receive subsidies that offset taxes on food,
That
especially
you pay for, Nate?
right now. And then I ain't getting no food stamps.
Yeah, but your money pay for the food stamps.
So low-income families are already getting subsidies. Low-income families are getting food stamps. Low-income families are getting housing. Yeah. They're getting all these things. And so on top of that, let's say, for instance, if you're paying let's use $700 a month, elderly person. You're saying you get $700 a month, right? Mm-hmm. You already get most likely housing.
Yeah. No doubt about it.
You're already getting $700. You get that $700. You get most likely food stamps.
That's right.
So with that $700, you're probably paying for your lights. Mm-hmm. Light bill probably.
Whatever, man, we can't even predict it, but let's say $80.
So you paying an extra 8 cents?
No, but
80 cents on that?
The light bill not taxable.
So the light bill not
No,
taxable.
bills are not taxed by this tax.
Utilities aren't being taxed.
No.
What are all the, what specifically, what are they just taxing goods? And
Yeah, goods.
What about cars?
No.
Insurance?
Yes, I'm sorry. Sales tax are on cars. Not insurance, but on cars, yes. Yeah.
So if you sell, this percentage, this 1% will be taxed on my new Navigator.
Yep. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
So if I can afford that new Navigator, surely I can afford to pour a little bit more in Pine Bluff.
But here's the sales tax rate. The state of Arkansas, we're 10%. The Arkansas sales tax rate is so of that 10%, 6.5 goes to the state of Arkansas.
6.5 to state,
The county gets 1.25,
1.25.
and Palm Bluff gets 2.25. So that's right now that's all the city is getting to flourish on.
That's it.
That's it. But the budget is
We call Sarah and tell her to cut that back. And Sarah just did cut back on those taxes.
No, she did not. Not on those.
What taxes did Sarah just cut back on?
So those are those are your earned income taxes. So the narrative is that she's cut sales tax. She did not. If you make, I forget what the cutoff.
24,000.
Yeah, it's 24,000. But that's also, I think that's a net. So that's a net. But we need to look it up. But let's say 24,000.
It's 24,000.
Okay, you make 24,000 more, then you get the earned income tax reduction. But if you don't make that much, and I promise, I think that's a stipulation on 24,000. What that actually is, a net of I forgot. But again, you have to make a certain amount to get the deduction, and the higher you make, the more your deduction because it's a percentage rate. So she ain't cut it on the low income people.
She cut it for the rich. But they made it seem as if, you know how they play on words.
But also, what's important about it, hey, I agree with it, though. Cut the state earned income tax. And she's going to continue they're trying to phase it out completely, so it'll eventually get there.
Right.
But you wonder why it's on that end versus the other end, because those are the people who have more disposable income who can likely borrow money, capital, and reinvest into the economy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's important to understand. But no sales tax have been cut. And also, as I explained last night, is the state of Arkansas has a $1.6 billion surplus. So, of course, they're cutting taxes. Why do we need to
continue to tax when we've already
got a big surplus?
And this surplus comes from us not investing in places like Palm Bluff.
That's true. That's true. But also, that's one thing you could say. But also, the taxes are generating enough to where we're meeting budget and beyond. Spending is at an all-time high. And so we're doing well enough to be able to cut taxes. Earned income tax. But not on sales tax. The sales tax might be the primary thing of what's generating the surplus.
Well, the reality of it is
you
that
6% of our 10.
Right. The reality of it is the state is in a surplus because, like I said, the state isn't investing back into the cities in the Delta areas.
The Delta areas, and they could do that.
And that's where that surplus comes from. Because if we were voting and we were doing our part, that surplus would have went back into teachers.
Yep.
Would have went back into impoverished communities like Palm Bluff. That surplus would have went back into economic development. Yep. So we wouldn't need a go for Palm Bluff in that nature.
That's true.
So
those are opportunities. Those are definitely opportunities. And I'll say this: so state-owned and the corporate income tax was cut. So people are trying to start businesses from a corporation level, not just start business from an entrepreneur. That you have an established corporation and they want to bring you here. They cut your earned income taxes. So that's very different from what's being promoted as if the governor of Arkansas, the state of Arkansas, is cutting taxes, but Palm Bluff is raising taxes. No, those same taxes got cut in Palm Bluff.
Right. So
that's not true.
So Shirley Woodis is saying, I don't get food stamps, SNAP benefits. I'm retired and I wasn't eligible for any benefits. I only received my Social Security check, which disqualified me. So, in my opinion, should I have to help pay for others to receive SNAP benefits?
Man,
that's not a question that we can answer.
Yeah, that's not a question I can answer. Maybe but I tell you this, I will tell you this, Miss Woodis, that free for all with this governor, they're trying to cut all that out. Those people gonna have to go to work.
She's doing a lot of cutting.
Yeah, it's a lot of cutting.
And the cutting that she's doing ain't gonna affect nobody at the top.
It ain't.
It's gonna affect people like you and me.
That's right.
And as those taxes and opportunities and services get cut, those things, if we don't start investing in our community, what's somebody gonna do when they get hungry, Ms. Woodis?
Yeah.
That makes things a little bit more dangerous for you and me.
But not only that, we got to get our school systems together so those people have a skill system when they graduate. They don't have to depend on food stamps. I remember, man, back when we used to watch Good Times, man, the thing was we not going to be on food stamps in this house.
Yeah.
And we trying to work our way out of the projects.
Right.
Now it's been reversed to just stay in there, etc. And so people, we have to become independent and not rely on the government to tell us when we can eat, when our check gonna come and all this and that. That is very important. So I'm not mad at the governor for cutting because we have to become entrepreneurs. We have to participate in the workforce and become a contributing citizen.
And self-reliant.
Self-reliant. So,
But at the same time, I feel like you can't require people to become these things when you haven't invested in
that's
them.
right. I
So that's my
100% agree.
dilemma.
Yeah.
That's my dilemma with the mayor.
Yeah.
I mean, not the mayor, but with the governor.
Yeah.
What I see Go Forward Palm Bluff doing is saying, hey, we're going to invest in our community with things like the generator.
In the schools.
In the schools.
Yeah.
Tell me about your relationship with the school districts.
Well, as you know, we've had a not so good relationship at first with the school district because we were really advocating with the leadership. I'll say that we were really advocating for better, man. We're like, this is not good,
All right.
and we had to go out on the line and do public letters and all this and stuff. Like, we've been meeting behind these closed doors, asking for stuff and things that don't make sense to our community, and you know, we sit down, we talk about one thing, we find it's something else, and so we just got to take this public.
Yeah.
So we've done all that, and but now, you know, particularly with the Palm Bluff School District, man, we have a great relationship with them. They actually recognize Go Forward Palm Bluff, I think, the last meeting for being a strong partner or something. And also we have an MOU with them now to continue our teacher certification deal. And so our partnership with the school district is very strong. It's moving towards very strong. It's a good relationship now. We feel like we bring I see, you know, we did that consolidation study or education study, and that forecasted a lot of the work that we end up doing. And so we are actually starting to see some of the recommendations without us advocating come to light because those are just the right things to do for this
Right.
time.
So you said that you guys have an MOU with the school board for your teacher certification. What is an MOU?
Memorandum of understanding. So
Make it digestible
yeah,
for them.
yeah.
That means that y'all got a deal with the
partnership
school,
that
a
we
partnership,
that we invest in at no cost to the school district.
and all we gonna do is all the school district is gonna do is get certified teachers, so they won't have to worry about the sub.
Yeah. Not
The sub,
not wearing underwear.
Okay, yo, this Nate Logic, the Real Underground Radio Station. Make sure y'all share. This ain't the H. Avenue show. Bobby Lowe's. Oh, I thought Bobby Lowe came. This ain't the H7O show because we're definitely gonna be talking about the sub. OnlyFans. But I think that's something that people need to be mindful of and
Come on now.
certified teachers in your school district, in your school is important.
Man.
That means somebody who has the credentials to teach.
To be in front of your child. Think about, so it's actually a vicious cycle that, you know, we picked up on, and that let's say we did identify that because the number of uncertified teachers had became so prevalent, just trying to put bodies in there.
Trying to fill a classroom.
Trying to fill a classroom. That
Babysitters.
A child could go K through 12 and not have a certified teacher. So,
how many certified teachers have you guys helped them get so far?
man, we're just going to talk about the number that we got posted, even though it's more, because we had a phenomenal year and a half, and I believe it's 38.
So, wait a minute. That's a win. That's a huge win.
That's a win.
So,
Man,
Go Forward Palm Bluff is responsible for 38 certified teachers.
That's right.
That's huge.
It is.
So that means if your child is in the Palm Bluff School District and Washington Chapel School District,
man, we're working on Washington Chapel, working through some things.
but for Palm Bluff School District,
we did 38.
you guys are responsible for 38 teachers.
Yep.
Tell me about this Alice program.
Man.
Before we go any further and dig deeper in it, how many homeowners
Yep.
are you guys responsible for?
And I don't want to misquote myself, so let me.
And what is the Alice program?
All right. Let me look on this. Per this, we've done 28 new homeowners since.
28 folks who not renting. 28 folks who say, this mine.
It's mine.
Can't nobody come tell me to get out
Nope.
if I don't pay no rent on the first of the month.
Nope.
Now, as someone who is a landlord, I tell my folks got to go
Yeah.
on the 31st.
Yeah. If they miss on the
Listen, by the first,
it's all with. We got a new person in there.
hey, look here, man. I need that rent, man.
Yeah.
By 1 o'clock p.m., I need that rent by 1 o'clock p.m. at 1 a.m. on the 1st.
But, man, the Alice program is one that, man, it took about 8 to 9 months to develop in terms of administratively how it's going to work and function. It's really one of the things I'm most proud of in my time as CEO because it was built from scratch. It was born on looking at a lot of different conditions, problem solving, and it really started off with the growing number of renters in some of our neighborhoods, and we had to deal with this condition of neighborhood associations and trying to improve the overall complexity or condition of neighborhoods. And so, the best thing to do, and ALICE, it stands for Asset Limited Income Constrained Yet Employed. And we thought, man, the best thing to do is to do a home ownership push, especially if the percentages are going down. Mm-hmm. And so we went and talked to some people that the banks. One thing, again, I still give credit to George Macris because he's the first one to say, yep, we'll do it. We'll set some money aside in-house. This is not, we ain't going to get, we can't sell these loans off. And we're gonna carry these loans in-house. Now if a person after 6 or 7 years credit get up to 620, well, we can refinance the house based on that credit and we can sell it off good, but we're gonna carry these loans. And he did that, man. And so, man, that's a hero for our community.
He took that.
Yeah, he ain't have to do that.
He could have said, man, y'all need to figure that out on your own.
Yeah.
God bless you.
Yeah, he ain't have to do that. He could say we're gonna do 620. What we do, get our CRA credit at that rate, and we're gonna do that. But his whole thing is we got to figure out a way to get these people in an equitable position quick.
One of the questions that some people are asking, Cousin P says, did Simmons own those homes in the Alice program?
No. I mean, so that's also, but that's also a tricky question because if you do first of all, these 100% financing, right? This Alice. So until every month that you pay principal interest, the principal is part of your now home ownership. So if you only got 10% of equity in the house, when they loaned you that money, they got to lean on it for the other 90%.
That's common sense,
yeah,
though.
But that's a tricky question, what he's saying. But before you went and financed with Simmons to get that house, I don't know who owned it. The property owner owned it. But if Simmons had a mortgage lien on that, they own a percentage of it. So it's a tricky question. But if I had a house that I owned outright and I went and fixed up and you bought it from me, no, Simmons didn't own it. I owned it. And
or whoever
owned it,
I ain't gonna front. I got a house. I think we got 2 or 3 in there.
You got
for
to think
sale.
about how many houses in that area.
Tell me where the Alice area at.
Yeah, so you got 17th to 34th, Hazel to Olive.
Why specifically that area?
Because you got 2 census tracts that butt up against each other. One census tract is where you have people making almost 20% of the average median income, and the other one you have them making about anywhere less than 80% of the average median income. So, therefore, what we're doing is leveraging one census tract to get loan to value versus the other. So we got to digest that, right, Nate?
Right. Make it plain for them.
So you cannot go in. So from a developer standpoint, if you want to buy one of these houses and get a rehab loan on that, it has to appraise for a certain amount. Let's say you need $100,000 to rehab this house, or just 40, if you needed 40,000. If the completed appraisal price is only 20,000, you only gonna get $16,000, 80% of that to try to rehab this house. And so when that happens, investors do not even look in the area because they can't get loan to value.
They can't make no money off of
They
it.
can't
So
make no-
why would they even try
And
to?
they got to use their own money.
And it might sit.
That's right. So and then their money tied up. So therefore,
It's
you
just not a
wanna-
good business move.
So with the with the two census tracts, you can look in that primary census tract.
In the mic.
You can get that. You can look at that primary census tract and get an appraisal value to try to rehab this loan in the secondary census tract, and be able to get the money that you need to be able to bring it up. So wherever there's an opportunity for two budding census tracts, that's why it makes sense to do that.
Is there plans to expand the Alice program to like the west side and the north side?
Yes. But it's important that dynamic has to exist. When that dynamic does not exist, one thing the Urban Renewal Agency has the power to do is go in and build 3 new homes to set the comps.
Because if
ain't
comps
no-
mean, what are comps?
Comparables.
What is that? Make
So-
it plain for them now.
So you have you have to get what in the area does a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, what does it sell for? And so if I got this house, I need to find a comparable value to if I'm gonna renovate this house to pristine, that's the comparable value. And you do 3 of them in the average.
And that could also offset the value and put somebody in a bad situation
It
too.
can. It has done that a lot.
And I think that's part of things where the complexities of things and home ownership go over a lot of people's head. Because say, for instance, if you go in a neighborhood, let's say like the north side, let's say the backwoods, and you go back there and you put 3 comps in the backwoods, and these houses are $150,000, $200,000 houses in the backwoods, you turn the value up on that neighborhood, and now Miss Susie, who been staying in this house, whose home value was at $30,000, she was paying property taxes on $30,000. You done ran the property value up in that neighborhood. Now Miss Susie got to go.
Or
'Cause
she
she
gotta
can't-
pay, or she got to pay the higher taxes.
She's gonna have to pay the higher taxes. So some people, when you want to talk about these things, it goes over people's heads, and they haven't done the critical thinking of it.
Now, here's the upside of that. You go in there and build 3 homes by Miss Susie, and let's say her house paid off. So she might be able to pay the taxes, but not be able to pay the note and the taxes. Ooh, it might be rough on her. But let's say you're able to pay, she's paid off. Now her house that was valued at $40,000 is now at $100,000, and when she dies and passes that asset on,
Somebody that came up.
somebody came up, Doc.
Somebody that came up.
all the way up.
Woo! But those are part of those critical parts that we don't have a chance to sit down and have these type of conversations. We don't get these chance to have these conversations because there's so many negative thoughts and connotations and beliefs that people can't get past those emotions to critically think about logical steps on how to improve Pine Bluff. Ryan, we've been on here for 1 hour and 27 minutes.
Yeah, it's about time to get out. But I will say a community development approach is going in saying, look, we ain't going to build on $300,000 homes in the backwoods. We're
Right.
going to bring some comparable homes, and then we're going to try to lift the property values of everybody, you know, and then you let them know on the front end if this goes up in the assessment, this is how much you're going to expect to pay, because we're not trying to gentrify nobody. You know,
Because that's what it would lead to.
yeah.
That's what it would
If
lead to if you go in and raise the value up.
Yeah, and that's like a conversation I had with some people about downtown. Just finished this. Man, you got a accredited art center with a heck of a theater program. You got a state-of-the-art art center.
Hey, before you say that, before you go to, I want to give the art center props because the things that they're doing now, I see they have a play for kids.
Yeah.
So guess when they leave their place, the art center, guess where they're going to eat at?
Man,
Underwater.
underwater. Come on now.
So somebody asked about how are we helping small businesses. When your people leave that play and they hungry and they drive down the street, they're going to see that Subway. They're going to see underwater seafood. They're going to see these businesses open. Let's stop by here and get something to eat.
Yep, Indigo Blue.
Indigo Blue. Rick's Tacos,
Yep, RJ's.
all these different small businesses that would benefit from it.
So, but the question, this is one that people got to understand. There are far and few between grants for a private startup. You got to bust your butt.
Ain't no such thing as grants for a private business.
Correct. You got to bust your butt, work. Now, they're doing these pitch competition to get people off the ground. You got to go the non-conventional route to get capital for your business. The number one thing you have to do is first establish personal credit. And your personal credit can get you a line of business credit. And you got to grow that business credit through tax returns and balance sheets, profit loss margins. That's what you have to do. That's your grant. And you really don't want a grant.
Because then once you get that grant, you have to operate within the confines of that organization.
But also it's a one-time funding. What you want is a line of credit that you continue to pay off and grow.
Develop and grow. As somebody who at the head of a nonprofit, What's Next Palm Bluff, I don't even like dealing with grants.
No.
Because when you get a grant, you have to operate within the confines of that organization that gave you that money.
Yep. So, man, we get so many calls about that, which tells me and us where we are in terms of entrepreneurial ecosystem. People thinking there's a grant for your startup. No, you got to get out here and bust your butt and file your taxes and pay your taxes and show tax returns so you can borrow more money or lean on the money that you're making to reinvest in your business.
Bottom line.
That's it.
And I think what a lot of people is that think, listen, just because you know how to make a plate of ribs, don't mean you got a business. You got a hobby.
Yeah.
Just because you got a grill don't mean you can sell barbecue.
Unless you're constantly improving your profit margin, it's a hobby.
Yeah. Bottom line. So another thing that I heard a lot of, they said unless you put what is it, a 990?
Yeah. So that's
they want you to pull out that 990.
Dog, that's readily accessible to anybody on the IRS website. We file a 990 every year. That's public information.
They can go get it.
They can go get it.
I think what it is that
and they pulled it.
And now that they've pulled the 990, it didn't show what they wanted it to show.
Or they trying to use the information to paint a different narrative.
I think what the problem of it is that a lot of people don't want to sit down and have a genuine, logical conversation. We've seen that when you have these genuine, logical conversations outside of emotions, because I'm going to keep it a buck. All right, before we get out of here, some of y'all emotions, look here, man. Ron, some of y'all in these emotions, calling folks Sambos, calling folks all that stuff. Look here, man.
It don't move the needle. That's for sure. And it does
You ain't scaring nobody either.
Yeah, and it does not address the issues.
The issues at hand. I just really want people to understand is that we have to get beyond all the name calling. We have to get beyond all the disrespect.
Yeah, man.
The thing at hand is a better Palm Bluff.
Yep.
You may not agree with Go For It Palm Bluff, but come sit at the table to show us how we can get better.
Yeah, absolutely.
I likened this to yesterday. I said some things to Mr. Whitfield that he felt were unfair and not correct. It was correct. It may have been harsh in its delivery, but I never want him to feel disrespected because he is my elder. And the same for Mr. Foster. These men have years and years and years of wisdom. But the unfortunate side of it is that you may have all this wisdom. It wasn't a progressive wisdom when we needed it. Set aside. Let somebody else run this thing. And let us, once we get this thing going, or once y'all get this, I'm going to say we.
It's we.
We. Once we get this thing going, sit back and bask in your glory, baby.
Yes, we.
Man, I took a picture of my parents, of the property our parents left us, and I had to look at it and say, man, look at this. I can only sit back and say, I know how proud my mom and dad is of that. Let us, me, you, Steve Mays, Terry Williams, Big Yogi, all these people sit back and give it a chance. It has worked. Stop thinking that it hasn't worked. But you're saying it hasn't worked because you don't like it. Yes, I know I do way more name calling than everybody else. I know I'm real bad with it.
Well, speaking of name call, it's one thing I want to say. Even to Steve Mays Jr., I want to let him know, man, I forgive you for that incident about a couple years ago. And no hard feelings. That's why I promote your business on Facebook.
Yeah, that's anybody that knows me know me and Steve grew up together. It's one of my best friends. If I call Steve right now, all this aside, I'm on my way. Yeah. You can believe what you want to believe. Steve Mays is one of my best friends. I love that dude. That's my brother.
Steve Mays singer. I was trying. You need to clarify, dude.
You trying to be funny?
No, you clarify.
No. Hey, man, you got anything before we get out of here? This is Big Nate, man, the Real Underground Radio Station. This is Nate Logic, man. Yep. I'm trying to be nice because I really want to. I'm getting in A70 mode. So,
yeah. Man, I just want to say that, man, this is critical for time for our city. We need the funding. This is nothing that we want. It is another clarity. This is not a tax on top of a tax. This tax will expire in September 2024. And if the voters or when the voters decide to renew this, it will pick up in October of 2024, October 1. It will start. And so, therefore, it's a continuation of the existing funding. If the funding goes away, there's no monies to address the multitude of issues that we know exist in Pine Bluff. Now, the 3/8 cents is an addition to support specifically public safety.
So when they go to vote, they should be voting for
both. One cannot thrive without the other.
You need to get with your elected officials.
Yeah, they were out yesterday.
Yeah.
In front of the newspaper today saying support this.
So shout out to Letitia Brunson. Shout out to Cousin P, Perry White, everybody who had questions and concerns. I hope we were able to answer.
You had a question, Kid Perry? Did I answer this question?
Perry, do you have any specific questions?
Was them to ask about the economic development stuff? Or
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Pine Bluff, 2 largest makeup populations are 18 and under and 55 and older. What plans are there to retain the population of 18 to 35-year-olds to stay in the city and raise a family with good health care? So that's a good question, Perry. And I think a lot of those questions, Perry, were answered in the beginning, but you may have to go rewatch it. But that's a really good question because as of right now, Perry, 18 to 35 getting up out of Pine Bluff.
They're getting up out of there, Doc. They're getting up out of there.
Because it ain't nothing to do.
No. So that's exactly right. So 18 to 35-year-olds look for places they can spend their money. And so people, they have a little money. They want to say, where can I spend my money? And if you don't have that concentrated retail option or entertainment option to where they can go to, then they're getting up out of there because they're tired of traveling to spend their money.
Having to go all the way to Little Rock just to go to the mall or go to the movies or find something to eat.
So that entertainment piece that
is important.
And the apartment scene is very important.
Very important. I got a phone you can get. Yeah. Brand spanking new. I'm just saying. Brand spanking new. And Washington John. Shout out Sherry Lilies. Hey, Perry, YL. I don't know you specifically, brother. You give us a good question. I'm gonna let him ask a question, and then we're gonna get out of here, Ron. Juan L. Give me a good question because you're making a lot of comments and you're saying a lot, but you're not saying a specific question.
What did Ernest Horton have to say?
Ernest, you answered this question.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
You don't talk about baseball, man.
No, he wasn't talking about. Juan L is saying about the grocery store on the east side.
Yep.
You need to call Letitia Brunson. That's her problem.
That's something that she.
The Letitia, go ahead.
She's very passionate about, and we've talked about some ideas because again, it's the same thing with the movie theater, right? We in restaurants, we are trying to recruit these people to come to Pine Bluff. Well, how long we gonna beg? At some point, we got to say that enough is enough. We're going to invest in this ourselves, figure out a way to do it, and she's working with co-ops and things to try to get it done. So that's a very good opportunity. That's a sincere thing on trying to reestablish that. I was looking at Food Giant when I was going over here, and we know a contact with that person that we're gonna try to reach out to. So it's that private investment. Pool y'all funds together, start up if y'all believe in it enough.
Right. So here's an idea, YL, Perry White, some of you guys. You guys could pool of investment. You, Steve Mays,
Yeah.
Cousin
Start a grocery
Pete.
store.
Steve got a spot over there on the east side already.
Y'all believe in it enough.
Yeah, I'll be the first person to come by.
And buy my letters.
You'll buy your lettuce there? I got a plug on some meat.
Yeah.
Hey.
If y'all serious about it.
Y'all serious about it?
Oh.
So,
And
y'all
don't get on Facebook advertising for people who want to invest in a grocery store. Nope. That is cheap. That is not serious.
get your credit where it need to be.
And call up a few people and sit down in a private room. Don't put it on Facebook Live trying to show out what you're doing.
Go sit down at the generator.
Yeah, go and be about the business of trying to start a restaurant. Quit all this advertising on who want to do this and that. Man, go do it.
Bottom line.
Nike, just do it.
Hey, not only that, when something can see the difference between wanting to do something and being convicted to do something.
That's right.
Some of the things that I've been convicted to do, some of the community service things I've been convicted to do. I don't care if don't nobody else show up.
Yeah, that's
If when it come to, we just fed almost 1,000 people for the tornado. I was willing to go by myself. When it come to these young boys in the community of Palm Bluff, you don't see me on there begging nobody no more.
Yeah.
And guess what? I'm willing to do it by myself.
And you get it done.
And been doing it. When it comes time for those Christmas events, I might beg y'all to buy some gifts. Yeah. But if you say no, Nate, guess what? It's still going to happen. Yeah. Thank you for making it easier. What you're convicted to do, no one else is responsible to do. Mm-hmm. So like he say, let's get to it, man. Let's set aside all that other stuff. Ryan, you got anything else you want to say, man?
No, man, I appreciate it. I appreciate everything everybody has asked tonight. And we'll continue to have community meetings. We'll be at New St. Hurricane on the 27th, April the 27th, 6 o'clock for another community meeting. I'm asking y'all to come out, bring your questions, concerns. We'll do a thorough presentation. And we'll continue to talk about how this is critical for this funding for the city of Advanced Palm Bluff.
L, I told you we would leave out on the question. L's question was, and we answered this question already. Mm-hmm. It's 10%. That 10%, Juan, is 6.5 to the state, 1.25 to the county, and then 2.25 for the city.
And we are not the highest in the state of Arkansas.
By
a long shot.
Perry White, your last question. What tourist attractions can be developed to attract people from across the state to the city to spend white dollars and not be afraid in Palm Bluff?
Well, we really have the number one tourist attraction in the state of Arkansas with Saracen Casino. But what we must do a job of pulling people out of Saracen Casino into the heart of Palm Bluff. And so when you develop, Mr. Cunningham's is a great idea for an attraction to pull people out in terms of Delta River Bayou's cultural district. That's a great thing to do that, but it must be complemented with active businesses in a thriving downtown. People get tired of going in there all the time. It's you get sucked in
the casino.
Yeah, they get tired. And so, hey, having a thriving, different change of scenery that's downtown, that will do that. But also for me, I'm big, and what Palm Bluff has always been is on the sporting events.
Right.
You got golf at Harbor Oaks. You can have golf tournaments, and this is actually something we begin to do. Fishing tournaments. And so we developed a purse. I think we got about $15,000 last year on fishing. Art, giving art essay competition in terms of, he talking about white dollars. That's white and black dollars. First of all, dollar don't get no color, so I don't even understand that. But anyhow, when you're talking about spending money, when you have these competitions, they attract people from everywhere. And one thing Mr. McCorvin and I have talked about is the HBCU choir competition. Get them down in here. Chess competitions, essay competitions, artwork competitions, fishing competitions, competitive basketball, baseball at Taylor Field. Get these tournaments going.
And one thing that
softball tournaments, on and on and on with assets that we already got in the community. Put a little purse behind it, the people coming. So we'll get
Ernest down here.
Yeah, we'll have the cultural district, yeah. But man, people don't just flock to the cultural district. That's the only thing they do. No, they're probably there for a primary reason, and then they might go get cultured while they're there.
I think what people forget is that even with the King Cotton, because of the King Cotton, you had the gymnastic tournament here.
That's right, and the 5A South tournament.
Yeah, you had the gymnastic tournament here.
5A South.
All them people that came down for the gymnastic, where did they go eat?
Man, somewhere in the city.
All those people who came for the 5A South tournament, where did they go eat?
Somewhere in the city.
All those people who came down for the motocross event they had.
Yeah, somewhere.
So these things are put in place because of the improvements
in the convention center.
Of the convention center, which are things that attract people to that community, to the community.
So conventions and stuff, that's very
right.
Important. Like the Capitals just had the deal here. Man, we got an opportunity to host a region in Pine Bluff. It was once held in Pine Bluff.
We're going to have...
And so we got to get the hotel to have that captive audience so that is multiplied by what you're talking about. But sporting events, see, the convention center has some type of ranking as far as a sporting destination place.
Yep.
But when you pair that, see, the convention center is on Convention Center Drive, so is Regional Park. And so you have the hotel there, you have the ability for your golf tournament, fishing tournament, softball tournament, all that to be housed at the host hotel.
Even also, if you add on to it and look at it, we have the HBC, we have UAPB.
UAPB, 15 sport athletic department, but Taylor Field is around the corner. So all that.
Right there within walk. Yeah,
we're playing to feed and all that. So that's the answer to his question. We're focused on athletics and competition and across the board, whether it be performing arts to your traditional sporting events. Tennis, Bloom Tennis thing has been revived, completely renovated. All these assets we got in the community. Now CR coming on board.
And then
with
you got
the athletic department. So we got plenty of things. We got to make these things work, Perry.
UAPB's golf team, SWAC champions.
That's right.
Look, man,
they should be able to host the SWAC here.
Oh, wait, baby. Man, we talking about, man, if you want to have a talk and you want to talk numbers, you want to talk business, get about your feelings, man, and talk business.
As a matter of fact, we went after the SWAC tournament, basketball tournament, and the GAC in which Monticello participated in. We did not get it because we didn't have the hotel. He's like, man, y'all got a great arena. It's looking good in here, but in Tulsa, they got this arena downtown.
What we going to get next?
This hotel.
We're going to get the Qs to come next.
That's right.
We're going to get districts.
That's right. We got to get districts.
We're going to get districts. And man, is they ready for that?
Man, they'll learn.
Hey, man, this your boy, Big Nate. This Nate Logic, baby. This my dog, Dr. Ryan Watley. Hey, man, I hope that you guys got some information. Share this. Go back and watch this. Go back and look at this. Listen, we appreciate everybody. The goal was to try to get some information. Mm-hmm. Your decision can be made on
May the 9th.
Yep. Listen. Ron Wiley going to be straight.
Yeah, what's the alternative? I'm not on the ballot. This is about opportunity for you to invest in Pine Bluff.
Either you is or you ain't.
Yep. We love it, right?
You love it. If you love it, you're going to sit here and try to get to it, baby. This your boy, Big Nate, the Real Underground Radio Station. This Nate Logic, baby. Anything else before we get out of here, Ryan? 100, dog. Oh, we, baby. Hey, we, baby. Oh, I'm just so excited. Oh, we. I almost want to get up and do the Ric Flair walk sometime. Hey, man, we get to talking about that, man.
Spares.
Brooks Autoplex. Hey, y'all, what's up? This your boy, Johnny. I'm back in the game. Hey, guys, come check us out. 1815 East Broadway, North Little Rock, Arkansas. I got the best deals in town. $19.99 cash. Yes, you heard it. I got deals for $19.99 cash, riding and driving. You can come and drive these cars anywhere you want to. Come check us out. Like I said, I'm back. $19.99 specials. Brooks Autoplex. 1815 East Broadway, North North Little Rock, Arkansas. We got them deals. Come check us out.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Lil Johnny, aka JB the Plug. We have all of you guys' needs and wants. And if your budget a little bit bigger than $19.99, I know y'all love them fast cars and that luxury, so I'm bringing in the Dodge Charger, the Hemis, the Chrysler 300s, Mustangs, Camaros, you name it, we got it. Been had it and getting some more. So stay tuned. We got the Hondas, Toyotas, Nissans, BMWs, Mercedes, domestic and foreign cars. Come get good with the best deals in the city. Brooks Autoplex, Brooks Autoplex, Brooks Autoplex.
1815 East Broadway, North Little Rock, Brooks Autoplex, Brooks Autoplex, Brooks Autoplex.